Glad to be here.
Okay, so we're gonna go over some stuff, some little topics, gaming, you know, gaming news, gaming content, whatever, right? That's been going around right now in the gaming world. And I have quite a few things, right? So the first thing we're gonna start off with, Switch 2, right? The Switch 2, we're probably gonna see something maybe the end of this year, whether it's a reveal or something like that, and then maybe it will come out next year. So I'm curious, like, what would y'all like to have on the new Switch? It might not be called Switch 2. I'm just saying Switch 2, but it might not be called Switch 2 because Nintendo's not really known for like putting numbers in their systems. Like they don't say 3DS and then DS2. They don't say that. They just create like Super Nintendo.
Hmm.
So for this conversation, we're just gonna call it Switch 2. But what would you like to see in the new system?
Okay. Christian, you want to go first, or I go first? Up to you. I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
No.
Oh, he can't hear you no more, bro. Um, I can start off, Animacast, if you want.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I haven't really put much thought into that question. So right now, first time ever thinking about it, first
Hmm.
time you asking me that,
Yeah.
off the top of my head, I can think of two games. The first one is really obvious. Super Smash is something I would like to see.
Hmm.
Now, would I like to see a new game or the same game again? So the old me before Smash Ultimate would have loved to see a new game. Why? Because I would always get excited over seeing new characters. That
A
was,
new
I
Smash.
think, a new Smash. Yeah,
Oh,
because I would always get excited seeing a new character, new roster. I think that's what everybody would look forward to in any Smash trailer or anything. But in Smash Ultimate, we've been um, what's the word? Blessed, I guess, with so many characters that
yeah.
to this
Yeah.
point it kind of doesn't excite me as much, right? So if I would like to see a new game, it would be Smash, and just better online because
Mm.
that's really all that's missing. Because we don't have much time to go to locals or do other stuff because we have chores or other stuff to do. So sometimes just staying in, we that's all we can do and play Smash. So if we were to see Smash again, just a better connection, I'll be very happy. That and again, I haven't put much thought into it. The only other game I can think of uh, well, because of nostalgic reasons, is I would love to see like another Pokemon Stadium. Back in the days, Nintendo
No,
64. I love, yeah, I love Pokemon Stadium. I don't know if it was called Pokemon Coliseum. I think that's what it was called.
yeah.
Yeah,
For
Yeah,
yeah,
GameCube.
yeah, for GameCube. I love that game, and I think it would be really cool if we can see another Pokemon Coliseum or no Stadium, right?
Yeah.
Coliseum is the one where it's like RPG kind of or
Yeah.
a little
3D.
adventure one.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to see another Pokemon Stadium because the new Pokemon's games, a lot of Pokemon's don't really have unique animations. Everything's the
Hmm.
same way. Like, oh, use Tail Whip. Every
Yeah, yeah.
Pokemon moves like this. But when you look at Pokemon Stadium, they actually have animations. Like they get hit. They have everything has unique animations. So it'd be
yeah.
really cool to see a new game, better graphics, and unique animations like Pokemon Stadium.
Okay. And
So
then
my
hardware wise, was the better online? That's like the only gripe you have for this one, or what? Like the
uh
hardware itself,
yes, yes. The only thing I would like to see better, yeah, I would say
online.
the online
Oh, okay.
experience. If it had good online, dude, I would play Smash so much. If it had a ranking system, I would play it so much. So that's the only thing missing, honestly, for Nintendo.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. What about you, Christian?
Um, I have put a lot of thought into this.
Uh huh. Oh, okay.
Hey.
Okay.
uh, so I think one of the first things for me is the actual Joy Cons, getting something
Mm-hmm.
better. You know what I mean? Um, it's just sometimes I have pretty long fingers, so whenever I'm gripping the Switch, I start to cramp up a lot around my pinky, and I mean, everything about the Joy Cons is fine. I think I would just have like a better grip and change the Joy Cons, not the Joy Cons, the
The grip? Oh.
stick to the magnetic Halifax sticks instead of the mechanical one that it has, because usually what causes that stick drift is micro dust getting in there and
Oh,
messing
okay.
with it. So that's one of the things that I would really like to change. Like I guess you would say like design wise.
Mm.
Um, but internal, I would want a better screen for sure. The OLED, OLED is the way to go with the Switch.
Yeah.
Unless you're really trying to save a buck, I wouldn't really go with the regular Switch. I would rather just go with the Switch Lite. It just it's about the same experience, except you don't have that
The dot.
the docking or taking the Joy Cons apart or whatever. But uh, pretty much the same experience. But yeah, the OLED screen, I would love to keep it for the Switch too. Upgrade it to a 1080p at least, and mainly 60 frames as well, and just having a better processor to run those games smoothly, like a lot more smoother. Because there's some games that run really good on the Switch, but they're only the games that are made by Nintendo. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like Smash runs really good. Breath of the Wild runs like amazing, and it's crazy because it's an open world, And right now I'm playing Nino Kuni 2. That's an open world, and it's a port, but it really lags when you're in the open world.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it really struggles, which I don't mind because I know it's very limited old hardware. Even when the Switch was released, they used old hardware to make it, you know? So I understand why it struggles, but I would like to see an upgrade. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure with the technology that we have now, it would be able to do those things because it's not, really like how do you say it? It's not like PC grade gaming,
Yeah.
where you can do 4K or 1440p. Um, and so you really don't really focus on that. You just focus on enjoying the game and the portability of it. So I think that's mainly my thing. It's just the screen and being able to run the game, a lot more smoother. But other than that, I love the Switch. I really look forward to the Switch too.
Yeah. For me, I think it's the same as what y'all said. I don't know. Well, the Smash thing, uh, I do like Ultimate, and it's
Mm.
like, you know, it would suck if. I mean, obviously, we're not gonna have the roster we have now, right? I mean, it's gonna be a new game, but obviously, it could be made better in terms of mechanics and stuff like that.
Mm.
Kind of like Marvel's Capcom 2 when it had a huge roster, and then they did Marvel's Capcom 3, and it was a lower, there wasn't a big roster, but the visuals they told us were like it was better, So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
like they could do something like that. I don't think it'll happen soon. I think when the Switch 2 comes out, if it's around the corner, I think they'll just make like an upgrade, like a Switch 2 upgrade or whatever, with
Mhm.
better frames, or maybe they might add patches or whatever. Like they might add stuff, So then
Yep.
that in that area, yeah, I'm kind of with you, Gold, where I enjoy this game so much compared to Smash 4. By this time, Smash 4 was already like, nah, give us something new. You know what I mean? This one
Yep.
doesn't feel like that. Like it
Mhm.
hasn't felt that way. Where we need something new. Like it hasn't felt like that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel that way too. So the hardware side, uh, for me, obviously an OLED. I mean, I think that's a must. They might do like what Christian said, a lower model, like that's not more expensive for people that don't have that much. But I
Yep.
think an OLED would be a must because just the way that those games play, like even though it's lower resolution, it makes the colors pop a lot, so it looks like a 4K or whatever, even though it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in handheld mode. So I would like that to come back, and then frames. I think it will be where at least you get at least 60. I mean, I don't think these games that are for Nintendo compared to like PS5s, Xbox, or even PC, they don't really need that much frames. It's not competitive. Mostly all the Nintendo games they're not like that. So
Yep.
you don't need 120 frames or something like that. To play single player or like a party game or a platform or whatever. You just need the 30 to 60 or whatever, and then from there you could just create a lot of things. Como what Christian said, where some ports are not made well, So then sometimes it is the hardware, but sometimes it's just the developers. They're not used to making a port that's for the Switch. So it happens a lot where they're like, okay, we're gonna bring a game to the Switch, and then they don't know how to, make it flawless or whatever, and then it's like, they run into problems or whatever. And it's not even the Switch as well. I mean, we see PC games that are ported, and then they don't even come out good, compared to like the PS5. Even though the PC is superior, it doesn't run well
Yeah.
because they don't make them well and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
think I would like to see that, and then obviously the Joy Cons as well, like the drift. It did happen
Mm.
on my old Switch where it started getting drift, and that's annoying because it's not something you could just open up, switch the, it's really hard to like try to open it and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I think that the hardware side of that, but the main thing that I think or that I would want will be the UI, like how the menu and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
going to the store, like the eShop.
Hmm.
It's really
Yeah.
laggy. Like it's really frustrating sometimes where you're like, oh, you're trying to compare to like PlayStation or whatever. It's flawless. You just go in, go out, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
eShop, it takes forever to load, and then you're trying to buy a game, and then like, oh, you know what? Never mind. So it's like it's kind of annoying all that, but I understand they had to do that, for the Switch, but I want to see something better in the Switch 2 for that. So
Yeah.
let me move on to the next one. Next
Okay.
topic is Skyjay in Smash. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't here. He couldn't come in, right? He was
Mm.
busy and stuff like that. So I wanted to have him here, but it's fine. So Skyjay in Smash recently did a big splash.
Mhm.
No.
So uh, I don't know if Christian, if you know who Skyjay is.
Yeah, he's one of the best Pokemon players.
Yeah, the Incineroar.
Yeah.
He's the
Incineroar,
best
there you
Incineroar in the world.
go.
Mexican, I had to put points there. And then, and we basically saw a tournament recently, right, Gold, where he made just like, I can't describe it. It was something where when we were seeing him play, I'm pretty sure you felt this way too. It was like, it just brought light to the community, what I mean? And you see it
Yeah.
everywhere. Like on Twitter, you were seeing people like, "Oh, this is the best grand finals." Oh, and
Hmm.
then like peak smash, and this is the best. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's like, it was really cool to see because like before that, we were getting a lot of bad news from the Smash community. Whether there was esports shutting down and then this and that and stuff like that. Esports orgs dropping players and stuff like that. So then Sky just comes here and just like starts entertaining, like getting peak views and stuff like that on the tournament. So, what are your thoughts on that, Goat? Where that happened, all that stuff.
Yeah. In my eyes, you can kind of say that Skyjay saved Smash, and the reason why is because it felt that, and from the competitive aspect, it was getting kind of stale, right? And then you had the whole Steve having these broken mechanics, and then these discussions: should we ban Steve or not because he's just so broken? And then when you see top players, you usually see the same thing, right? You see Steve, Kazuya, just same roster over and over, and people were kind of getting a bit bored by it. And it also felt that the meta was established, as in Incineroar low tier, all these characters low tier. If you want to do good in Smash, you have to play these characters, and that's it. So the scene was getting a little bit boring, and then all of a sudden you just have Skyjay out of nowhere defeating these top players, these meta characters with Incineroar. It kind of shocked everyone, including myself, that it made you think that, wow, in a way, anything is possible. If you really dedicate the time to the one special character that you really enjoy, that you can actually beat these top players. And seeing Skyjay perform a lot better than these top players kind of motivated me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, just to play, and but not just to play, but to play with the character you enjoy. So it was very refreshing and amazing seeing him get second place in third place in collision, I think.
Second, yeah.
Second place in collision, yeah, and then doing amazing in summit. So yeah, for sure.
That's great.
Christian, I mean, you probably didn't see anything, right? But Yeah, I mean, Incineroar was he's like a mid tier and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
he's and that tournament, who was it? Like a lot of top players were there. Spargo was there. The Buzz, he beat the Buzz. Like all these
Mhm.
players that were like are considered, top,
Yeah.
top players, and he's just using this character and just bodying everyone. So like, for like the whole week, it was like that week, even before Summit, it was nothing but that. Like just talk about Skyjay's run, Skyjay's run, Skyjay's run, and then on Summit, um, he managed to get in there, whatever. And then again, it happened again because there were some people that were like, you know what, maybe it was a fluke, he won't do
Mhm.
it again. And then he
Yeah.
goes to Summit and does it again, you know what I mean? Outperforms even MK
Yeah.
Leo, so it's like that's crazy, to do
Oh
with that
wow.
character.
And
What?
then real quick, Adokon, the storyline in that is kind of amazing because he didn't qualify for Summit, and then like out of luck, this one person like couldn't show up to Summit, so then we had you had to play a best of five, Skyjay and Louis Money, and then Skyjay ended up winning, and so he ended up qualifying to play in Smash Summit. So it was very it was like an anime show, like the protagonist making it and actually making it to the competition was really cool. You know what I mean?
Plot armor.
Yeah, exactly. The
Plot
plot
armor, yeah.
armor. Yeah, his gamer tag. He puts anime protagonist in his gamer tag. It was very
Oh, boy.
fitting. Yeah,
That was
That's
really
fun.
cool seeing.
yeah, yeah. So go on Animacast because I interrupted you.
I mean, it sounds pretty cool, right? That little arc.
Yeah, that's crazy because and it always brings me back to why I love Smash. I don't play competitive anymore,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but man, watching those type of runs like just like make me want to come back. And that's I know like last September I was attending tournaments, and it was because of a lot of MKLeo's like comebacks against Tweak.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how the meta can change, even though you feel like it's established. Like Gold said, it really just depends on who's using the character. You know, but other times it's who's using the character. Unlike other games, I was watching Street Fighter, and it's very like it's very linear. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, Maybe you can mix it up here and there, but if you really want to get the best, combo or the more damage or get the kill, you have to follow a combo. You know what I mean? But with Smash, it's a lot of mind games. It's a lot of getting into your opponent's head, and changing your play style mid game, and it's pretty cool to see that. I wish I maybe after this I'll look at Skyj's runs. I'll look at him, but it makes me want to watch it. Makes me want to watch him. But yeah, that's crazy. And with Incineroar, I can't believe it because I was there. I did play a little bit when what's his name, Kazuya,
Yep.
and
Yeah, it came out.
Steve came out, and man, even like with I'm not gonna say I was really good. I knew the basics, and that's basically it. But man, I just felt like I couldn't do anything against a Steve or Kazuya, and the fact that Incineroar is up there, getting second place or getting fifth place on Summit, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to even just hear that, And not
Mhm.
only him, it was the ice climbers too. They made a what was it, like third place or something like that in
You're
Summit?
right, Big D. Yeah, that
Big
was
D,
insane.
yeah,
Mm.
That's crazy.
yeah. The ice
Yeah.
climbers desyncing and all that, man. That was all that tournament was hype, man. Everything there was so refreshing from like except Grant's with
Yeah. Oh,
Steve, you know.
it reminded us of
Yeah,
reality. Oh
like
my
I
god.
think you could tell like a lot of viewers just went down because of that. Like at the end.
Mhm.
But either way, like it just
It
showed
gave
it.
hope.
Yeah, it just gets to show like the game is not like Smash Four. Like you could play a lot of different characters in the game, and you could do as long as you put the time and effort, you could do it. Compared to Smash Four, that even if you did that, you couldn't. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Oh
I think that's
yes,
really cool.
yeah. So
So let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
The 3DS and Wii U eShop shutting down. I don't know if you know about that. So the eShop for 3DS and Wii U is closing down after I don't know, like decade plus or something like that. And basically Nintendo's shutting it down. You can't buy games or download games on the eShop anymore from the 3DS and the Wii U. And I think that's happening because they're moving forward uh, to what they're trying to do. Which there was a graph where it showed that starting from the Switch and forward, they're gonna connect every like your profile will be in every, going forward, it will be your same profile on every system going forward from the Switch. So I
Okay.
think that's what they're doing. That well, you know what, the past, we can't maintain anymore. Let's just move forward with from here to the future. And I think that's really smart because I know PlayStation has done that. Xbox obviously does that. So it's cool to see that Nintendo's finally doing that. And I think it's only good for us because I think that would happen where Gold said about the online being better and stuff like that. I think once they focus only on the Switch and forward, it'll make that better. But what do y'all think about the 3DS finally shutting down? I mean, it's crazy, but I don't know if you even had a 3DS, Gold.
I did, and I played only Pokemon X and Y a
Okay.
Dang.
couple of years ago. I didn't really buy much stuff on the online store. In terms of games, I actually think I only bought that X and Y. That's kind of why I brought up the topic of it'd be cool to see a new Pokemon Stadium, just because seeing new Pokemon. I enjoy the Pokemon franchise, but they need to add a little bit more animation to it. But yeah.
And Smash, you got Smash, right, on 3DS?
Oh yeah, actually yes.
Remember
I also,
that?
the only two games I have is actually the Smash game and X and Y. Um, I can't. I don't really know too much about the online thing. I mean, in terms of our childhood, it's sad, right? Because we're seeing it all go away.
Yeah.
Brings back memories of having the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, SP, and all that. Um, but like you said, I do understand why it's shutting down. I mean, they stop reproducing new games for all that, and they're really trying to focus on only the console. But it's kind of all the thoughts I have of that because I didn't have too many games
Yeah. Did you even have games on the Wii U besides Smash or just Smash?
on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I had the Wii, not the Wii U.
We had for Smash 4. You didn't have Smash 4?
Oh no, yeah, I had the
Yeah,
Wii U. Yeah,
Wii U.
I don't know actually.
Just Smash. I mean,
I think
honestly,
I
what
did. I
else?
only had Smash.
I think Smash, and I actually bought Pokken, but I never played it.
Oh, okay. I never played that game.
It was just
Yeah.
Smash. Yeah, can't remember any other game.
What are you, Christian?
Nah. I only had Smash on the Wii U, man. That's it. And then I was like, all right, Smash 4 is too hard for me. I can't do it. And so I just sold my Wii U. I didn't even. I think the only other game I bought was Mario Maker, and it was for my brother.
Oh, that one came out there,
Yeah, he wanted it, so I was like, all right, that's fine. But no, I think they're moving in the right direction. It's just very like Gold said, it's almost nostalgic. That it's a nostalgic thing, being able to buy. I never had a 3DS, but I did play it a lot because Ed had it.
yeah. Yeah.
He would let me borrow it a lot, but
Oh, I thought you
uh,
had one. You didn't have?
no, I didn't have one.
Oh,
I only had the DS Lite, remember?
oh, okay. Yeah.
So I didn't get to experience the online and all that, but the online shop. But yeah, I mean, it is pretty sad because it was one of the best selling portable consoles ever,
Yeah.
And even today, today, literally today, before we got on the stream, I went to Target to get some groceries, and there's like two kids using a DS,
What
3DS.
the hell?
It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, they were playing Mario Kart together, and that's the thing, like,
Wow.
that it made it so popular. It's like a lot of the times with the 3DS or the DS, you only needed one cartridge of the game, and you can share the game, which that's what I loved a lot about my DS. But yeah, it's pretty sad, but I think it's a good move forward. Because if they're gonna keep moving your profile to the next console and the next console, maybe that means that your old purchases are gonna transfer as well. Like you can download it, let's say on the Switch 2, You know, if I download, let's say, the, you know, another, let's say Smash, right? I download it on here. Maybe I can play it on the other Switch. Hopefully they allow that, but no Nintendo. They're pretty greedy. They're probably gonna make you buy it again.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, I think it's a good move forward. And the Wii U, I mean, that one it didn't sell good. It wasn't a good console, honestly. It just wasn't. It was
Yeah.
creative. I don't think it was something that people needed.
I mean,
And
I see it like this: the Wii U was made to fail, so the Switch could succeed. You know.
yeah, and
So,
that's true because it's very similar. You know, you can dock it and have a screen, whatever. You
yeah.
know, whatever you want to do with it. A lot more portable, but at the same time, man, that it wasn't good.
Yeah. It's kind of horrendous.
Yeah.
Moving on. Last of Us PC port. I don't know if y'all saw this on Twitter. No. So what happened was the Last of Us, the remake, the newest one they made. Um, they were making a port for PC, so it came out on PS5, and then they announced they're gonna make a PC version of the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of hype because of the show. You know, I mean, whoever hasn't played it, you know, wanted to play it. If they don't have a PS5, they wanted to experience it on PC, right? So it got delayed once, so that was already a bad sign. You know, they delayed it once, like, oh, we're trying to have the best experience with the PC or whatever. Okay, and then it comes out this past weekend or this past week, and it was horrible. Like, it took an hour to down, or it takes an hour to download like the whole files or whatever, so it could run good. And then after that, you know, even that, it wasn't running well, even in like even if you had a really good PC or whatever, if you put low settings, it still wouldn't run well. You know, the textures were off, the cutscenes were like way off, and then I mean, there's some funny clips where it's a scene, and then they out of nowhere they start like they soaked with water, like if they went underwater or something out of nowhere. Like there was a lot of glitches like that. I always see a lot of people were upset that on Sony, it's mostly Sony's fault, yeah, because they got a people. They announced, you know, with some people that they made ports before, and it wasn't made well. So like they try to save money by making, by getting those people to make it, and it didn't come out well. Naughty Dog, the team behind Last of Us, they announced, yeah, like we're gonna try to fix it over there, but it just left like a big dent on them, because obviously there's people that haven't played it, and then for the first time to experience it, and then the reviews that are going on is like a 1 and a 4 on the game, which it sucks because this game's a masterpiece. Whoever hasn't played it, whoever played it knows it's a masterpiece, and people can't even play it on the PC. So what do y'all think about some of these companies that are trying to save money by making cheap ports, or like all these things that it's affecting the players? Now, I mean, for them it's fine, whatever, right? They're rich, but for us, like, it sucks. And then I think I don't know if this is correct, but because I don't really buy that much Steam, but isn't it there like a 2-hour window to return a game?
I
Something like
believe,
that, right?
yeah, when you play a game, you have like 2 hours before you can get a full refund.
So imagine you spend an hour to download, and then
Oh my
maybe, like,
gosh.
you know what I mean? What if you can't,
Well, the 2 hours is 2 hours of gameplay. So if you play the game 2 hours, you can't return it. But downloading it, all that, unless the download is inside the game,
No, it is,
you
yeah,
know.
Oh,
it
Well,
is.
there you go. Then yeah, it's a whole hour. You waste a whole hour of your
man, I feel like
return.
that's a loophole. They probably
Yeah,
did that just to.
they probably did do it on purpose, honestly.
Yeah.
What do y'all think
But
about that?
no,
Well, go ahead,
um,
Christian.
um, I mean, yeah, that game's amazing. It's crazy to think that um, it was made for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah,
It's how good it looks. I mean, we got like a small little remaster for it for the PS4, but now we got a remake for the PS5, and it still looks great. And I know that those type of things can really kill that experience. So I understand why people are giving it that low review. It's mainly not towards the story; it's mainly towards the developers and the quality of the game. But Yeah, man, I would be disappointed too. That's why I don't want to play it or buy it. I'm just like I'm good with the experience that I had with the PS4.
Yeah.
Uh, Um, so from what I know, there's always a lot of games that developers take years to make. Like you were talking about last time, what's it called? The one with Harley Quinn and
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Suicide Squad. Like there's a lot of games that developers take years to make, and sometimes they don't do a good job. And all those years, and then for it to flop, it's uh, all those years working on a project to flop. That's really disappointing. So if they're gonna make a new game or anything, I think they should really take the time to make it as enjoyable as possible. And it's not worth trying to budget on making a port because that could really just damage the whole franchise and just ruin a project that takes years to make. So
Yeah.
if it's a remaster game or a new game, it's always best for developers to do a great job because it's years of working on something just because you want to save a buck or two, it's definitely not worth it.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
a big game like this. You know what I mean? What if I told you like, hey, go try it out? I mean, you have PS5, but like, oh, I tell you, man, you need to try this out. Whatever, you play it, and then,
Yeah.
hey, this is what you told me. Like, this is crap or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bad
Yeah,
experience.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was gonna say that, man, I already forgot my point. But yeah, I mean that game is amazing, and to just have it ruined like that, like you said, to save a buck at the end, it's not even worth it. Now I remember what I was gonna say. Especially right now, The Last of Us is so popular, like Javi's mentioned, that it's so popular because of the show, and the show was a hit. I
Yeah.
watched the show and I loved it. It wasn't like 100% based, following the story of the game, but I can understand why. There's just some things that don't really translate well into the movie
Mm.
screen or whatever.
Mhm.
But I loved what they did with it. I loved the cast. I loved everything. So it's like it made me want to play it again. I had my PS4 in my closet,
Mhm.
and I literally took it out and put it in my room so I can play The Last of Us again. That's how good the show was, and how it reminded me,
Yeah.
and like how good of a game is. So if a show can do that for you, and they should have really focused on making that experience good, because even if it was gonna cost them a bit more, look at all these customers that are coming in. All these people are like, I never played it, but I want to. Like it sounds like a good game, and it really is. The show and the game are amazing. So I think they really flopped it there, and I don't think there a lot of those people who maybe already purchased the game are going to come back to it. They just going to have that bad experience in their mouth. So, and that sour taste in their mouth, like people say. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think they flopped it like bad. They should have just done it right the first time.
That sucks. Yeah. Uh, okay. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
Multiversus shutting down and coming back supposedly 2024. I don't know if y'all knew about this. So they announced that they're stopping the online. They're stopping the game. They're shutting it down. You can still play it offline, I think, but
Mhm.
um, and they're coming back 2024. So supposedly it was on beta the whole time. It said Multiversus beta, it's shutting down, coming back 2024, the full game supposedly, right? And I'm like, wait, what? Like a lot of people are confused, like beta, the heck? Like, was this all beta? Like, supposedly it was all beta.
But
Um,
they never said it was beta though before, right? Or
no, they announced it, but we thought it was already out a beta. Like it started as a beta, and then the full game came out, and I guess it was still beta, but
mm,
everyone thought it was already the full game.
yeah.
So it's like, um, I don't think these the reason or the reason I believe this happened is because before even that there was announcement that players on Steam for the multiverses 99% of players fell off of the game. Like the people that were playing the game, they weren't playing anymore.
Hmm.
Um, so I feel like these Smash like games are not really coming out well. Like it's really hard to make a game like that really unique. Platformer fighter. and actually like be good, I guess. Like actually be good and different, you know. Um, and I guess they're not coming out, you know, how people want it. So it's like, oh, it's cool for a bit, and then after that, you know, they just fall off, and then it just dies, you know.
Yeah.
And I think what they're trying to do is, you know, just stop development and then just redo everything. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know if people will actually come back. 'Cause that's a big break. You know what I mean? Almost a year. Like it's kind of weird, and it's like you they were paying money. Like there's battle
Mhm.
passes in there. There's like a store or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that sucks for like people that already purchased stuff. I don't know how that's gonna work if they're actually gonna keep your stuff that you got or that you bought with real money.
Mhm.
But what do y'all think about these Smash clones games not really surviving or like you know getting that attention?
Uh, that's a tough question. I think in general, if 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 a company makes a game and they want to really base it off something else that's popular, kind of like that example you gave me, Amnacon, about the Harley Quinn game. What was it called?
Suicide Squad.
Kind of like Suicide Squad, where they just
Yeah.
kind of made a something for quick cash, right? To make some money, just to basing off like Fortnite and Apex. But if they try to make a new game and it's kind of just a copy again of like Smash, it won't survive because we as consumers we want something original. We don't want to copy. Like, why would we play something that's like Smash if we can play Smash? There's been so many games, so many first person shooters that I'm like, man, this game is so cool, it's so fast. Like, but then I'm like, well, I mean, let me just play Apex. Like, it's the same thing, and I literally stopped playing that game. So I think if developers make new games with the thought process of, oh, if we copy these things for quick money, it's not gonna work out because we as consumers like original stuff. We don't want to copy. Like, that's just how it is. So if they want to make something like Smash, it shouldn't be like Smash. It should be something that sets it apart, something that's better than Smash. Instead of trying to copy Smash, it should make it something that's just better. Try to get the aspects of what people would want in a Smash game, but just I think if they relate it to Smash, that's probably the biggest weakness
Mm.
a platformer game can have. Um, because Smash right now is number one. If you make something like Smash, you're gonna have all eyes have that new game compared to Smash, and I think that's actually detrimental for a new game. So that's
Yeah.
probably the biggest weakness, making something that's similar to what's most popular, because automatically you're comparing it and you're seeing its flaws. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. Like, if you're, I think my concern is more like if you're gonna make, like, okay, I always see all these Smash copies, and they get very popular, and people are streaming them and all that. And then, even you, Amicon, tell me like, oh, let's play it, and I'm just like, I don't know, I don't want to, because I already have Smash.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And a lot of these copies are never, honestly, they're never good. Like, they're
Mm-hmm.
never well animated. They're
Yeah.
the graphics aren't that good. It just seems like a more like an indie game. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then you look at the developer, and it'll be like a big developer, and just like, why they didn't put that much effort? They just wanted to copy the idea, and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't put as much effort as Smash does. Because Smash animations are better, the graphics are better, the quality of the game is better, the movement is better, and it's very unique. I think the only other game that I can see that is very, it's not even like, people really don't see it as a competition to Smash or like a competitor, but it's very like it, is Rivals of Aether. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
guys have heard of that game.
Yeah.
That game is it's not that popular, but it's a well-made game, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like Smash, but it has its own play style, its own unique quality. You know what I mean? It's very like, it's supposed to be like a pixelated, like, or 8-bit kind of fighting game, and it's really good, and I enjoy watching it. But and I even played it before, so it's fun. But like, even like Brawlhalla, that doesn't really catch my attention. Uh, you know, the multiverses, it doesn't, because at the end of the day, they don't. It doesn't seem like they're putting as much effort as Nintendo is in making this game into a very quality, all around good game. You know, multiverses didn't really catch my attention, so and I never played it, and it's for those reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's just, it's been tried before with PlayStation when they did PlayStation All Stars. They see Nintendo's like, oh, we could do that, and then we have the money. We're better. PlayStation. Oh, we're better. We're richer or whatever. We could do that, and then they make their own version. Then again, it flops. It's like I feel like this specific game, what they designed, Sakurai, like what he made, is really specific that only a handful of developers can make. I mean, we see it where he tells us himself where it's so much work trying to get everything right and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he's a perfectionist. He wants to do everything correctly, make it seem that they're from their actual games in Smash. You know what I mean? How they move and everything like that. The sound effects, everything's like perfect, right from their specific game to Smash, right? And not only that, but I think the biggest thing as well is the IP. So like for example, multiverses, it's cool. Like Warner Brothers, right? Okay, you have cool characters or whatever, but they're not video game characters. So how can you make a cartoon to like a game? It's like it doesn't really. What are you gonna get? What are you gonna make? Everything looks the same. The animations look the same because they're not made from a video game. Compared to Smash, you're getting characters from video games to Smash, so it's more. People could relate to it more instead of having a cartoon or a show or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's a big difference as well. The characters that are in Smash, it's really unique from anything. The only one that I see it that was on par with that was Mars Capcom, where they had Marvel characters and Capcom characters. But I think Smash just took it to another level. Like every little detail is from the actual game. It's just crazy, and these developers think that they could do it as well as they can, and it's not. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just really unique.
Yeah, and to add to that point that you said, the characters, they all just fit. Like Link and Mario and Zelda and Samus, like yeah, they're Nintendo characters, and obviously they're going to be in a Nintendo game, but it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Beginning, like and they don't make it to the point where like it's like, for example, like multiverses, they just try to make it silly. You know what I mean? Like all the attacks and the fighting and all that. Where in Smash, it's a little bit more serious. It's a little bit more well made, and like you said, it's they put into consideration like the actual like style of the character. Like Link. Yeah, he's a swordsman, obviously, and in Breath of the Wild, he does these certain attacks. He has these certain items, and now he can use them. On
the bombs and stuff like that.
Yeah, the bombs, and the same mechanic. The bombs are self-detonated. Well, that's you detonate them. So it's like it's those type of little details that make sense and just make it a better experience playing those games. And obviously another thing is like what you said. At Warner Brothers, they who those characters are, but they don't really are fighting. They don't have fighting games, or maybe they do. Like maybe Wonder Woman's on there. I think she was on Versus, and she's in Injustice, but that's a different type of game. So and they used the cartoon version of her. So it's just kind of like it's a big. It's kind of confusing, but with Nintendo and Smash, it just makes more sense to me.
And it's easier to connect to the characters in Smash, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Freaking Batman with some tantaras. The hell's that? Los calzoncillos.
Oh,
from the older one, they could have like Batman Beyond or something. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so now that we're in this topic, I want to move on to this one that's kind of similar to that. Is games as a service and live service games. Through last year and this year, there's been a lot of shutdowns, a lot of closing games of these games as service games. And I think players don't want that no more in video games. I think it's oversaturated with all these games as service, and like Gold said earlier, where they're trying to make a quick buck, and it's not working anymore. They're not surviving. They're shutting down. I mean, we've seen it with Avengers, We've seen it with all these other games, that have been coming out. Um, and it's not just the free to play. Obviously, battle royales are games of service technically, and also League and all that stuff. But uh, they're trying to make these games that you actually buy as a full price game or whatever, and to make it games of service. So what that means is like you have to be connected to the internet no matter what to play it. So even though it has like a single player mode, you have to be connected. So people are like, "What's a big deal?" It's a big deal because what if your internet goes out or whatever? Like not everyone has great internet, and then you're trying to play it by yourself and you can't. Not only that, but let's say it doesn't survive the game itself. So like for example, like we were talking, the Suicide Squad. It's a games of service. They already said that, and it's gonna have single player and multiplayer and stuff like that. But you have to be connected to the internet and stuff like that. So when that game, right, flops, let's say an example, you buy it and it flops, right? They're gonna announce we're shutting the service down. Okay, you can't play it no more, no matter what. You know what I mean? The service is that's it. So it's like okay, all that money you spent on your battle passes, on your whatever the case, right? It's gone. Like it's completely gone. So that obviously that would happen to free to play games, like Apex and stuff like that. That would happen as well if they ever shut that down. Everything you purchased, everything you did is gone. But to make it on these games that you will also have to buy, I think that's really dumb. And it's like people are finally recognizing like we don't want this. You know what I mean? We want a full experience because I feel like these games that are games of service, they start off with that. So like, how can we make it as a game of service instead of how can we make this game experience good? No, let's make it games of service to earn more money, and then make everything else second. Which back then, for example, The Last of Us, it had a multiplayer. I don't know if you knew this, Go. It had some multiplayer in there, and it was one of the best multiplayers at that time. Till this day, people play it. It's like a shooter, crafting, stuff like that. It's a shooter basically, team based. But the game itself was single player, and then they added that was an addition. So that's why that multiplayer became good because it already had a foundation from the single player. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, we're creating characters, memorable characters. We're creating mechanics from the single player. You know what? Let's add a multiplayer instead of let's skip that. No, forget the characters. Let's skip that and make a multiplayer. You know what I mean? And that's what's the issue is when they make games that are just focused on game service or whatever, everything else is not well done. You see it at Suicide Squad when we saw the gameplay. They did 15 minutes of it, and people were like, "Okay, this is just generic gameplay that we've seen time and time again." It had a lot of backlash that the studio had to cancel the date and move it on to another later on to try to fix stuff or whatever. But I had a lot of backlash on that because it's like, okay, we already see this in Destiny 2 whatever. Like we already see this gameplay, nothing unique here, because it's more focused on that. And then they show like 5 minutes of just the battle passes. And I'm like, we don't want that. Like we don't want to see that. We want to see more story, more like where's that at? Everyone had a gun. Like doesn't make sense. Like why would Harley Quinn have like, you know what I mean? Like why would So it's like they skipped all that and then just did game service instead of making the game first and then making a game service if you want. So what do y'all think about that?
Does games of service mean it's free, but then you have to like you get in game?
No, it doesn't have to be free. It could just be you can even buy the game, and then they have additional like a battle pass or a store. You know what I mean? Where you could purchase little tantarans and put them on if you want, and, and stuff like that. But it doesn't change anything for the game. I don't know if it makes sense. So like, for example, in DLC, right? When you purchase a game, that's a normal game, not a game of service, a normal game, and then you purchase DLC for it, right? That changes the game. So they add either story, they add characters like in Smash, a fighting pass. That's technically a DLC, the fighting character.
You get more content instead.
You get more content, yeah.
Instead of what do they call them? Cosmetics.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's just something where they want to make money out of you. so you could pay them instead of you. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense, but that's what they try to do, and it's been working for a while. But now people are like, we don't want that anymore and stuff like that.
Well, in that case, I guess I feel that games as service should come second. First, the developers of a game should focus on the game being good, the storyline being good, and then when that's successful, game as a service, the cosmetics will come easy, will sell really easy, because people love the game so much. Because you gave me the example of Smash. I love Smash, and then when they come up with DLCs, I'm gonna buy it because I love the game already. So if they would have literally sold new skins, I would buy it just because I enjoy the game. So. Um, for sure, I think that the main focus should be on the game itself. If that's successful, then you can do an in-game battle pass. I think that's how it should be. All these new games that are focusing just on the battle pass, it's gonna flop because if the game's not interesting at all, why are we gonna buy the battle passes? I think that's really pointless.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I always think back to this game. Well, this one was free, but it was called Splitgate. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
I heard of it.
Yeah, is Halo this kind of
Yeah,
thing?
it's like a Halo
Yeah,
Portal kind
yeah.
of,
It was from
and like,
Ubisoft.
no, I don't, was it from Ubisoft?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
think so.
remember.
I actually
No, I
played
don't
that
think
game for a
so.
bit. Yeah.
It was an indie game. It was an indie game, so I don't know. Maybe it was, but uh, no, that game was free to play, and it was a good game at first, but um, me and Ed actually played it on release when it came out. It was a long time ago. Then it started getting popular around last year, and people were like, they had like millions of players. But from the time that me and Ed played it, and when it
Mm.
started getting popular, it was already out for a year, you know,
Oh
and they
wow.
never changed anything.
Yeah.
So we were like, I played it again, and I'm like, my brother was like, oh, check out this new game. And I was like, oh, which one is it? He told me Splitgate, and I was like, oh no, this game's not that. It's not new, but it's getting a lot of traction. So I'm just like, yeah, let's play it. It was pretty fun when I played it. But once we got on, I was like, it's the same thing. Like they never changed anything. The only thing they added was a battle pass. You know what I mean?
uh, like a
So it's
season.
like, yeah, they're like season whatever, this and that battle pass. And honestly, like since they didn't change anything, even from there until like from when it started getting popular till a year later, they didn't change anything, so it just died. So a lot of these companies are focusing on is, like you said, just getting as much money as they can from these games because they know people will buy cosmetics, and I think we have Fortnite to blame for that. They didn't do it on purpose. But at the same time, it's like they knew for them it would work because even now, like last season for Fortnite, they have the Doom guy battle pass on the battle pass. His skin. I'm just like, I need to get it. But Fortnite's a good game, and it's survived a while, and it's like you can always come back to it. But like,
It didn't even start off as a battle royale, so that's another
yeah,
thing.
and that's another thing. It didn't start off as a battle royale. It was just a side part that just got successful over time. But yeah, I mean, that games of service it's ridiculous. I got it also reminds me of those cloud only games, like Resident, like on the Switch, you're gonna be able to play Resident Evil. Was it 7?
7, and yeah.
Yeah, 7, and then Kingdom Hearts as well. Like, oh, dude, when they announced them, I was like, oh god, I would be able to play it on the Switch. But then they're like, it's cloud, and I'm like,
They're
why would
cloud,
I
okay.
pay? Especially Kingdom Hearts, it was like $90 for the whole, like all the Kingdom
Oh my
Hearts,
god.
and it's like, why would I pay that much to only be able to play it when I have Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Like I don't. I get the Switch can't run a lot of games and all that, but like maybe just wait until there's an upgrade or whatever. But I wouldn't pay $90 just to be connected to the internet all the time, and then when I'm not connected and I want to play it, like recently, not too long ago, like in October, I went camping, and it's like there's no signal over there. And I just wanted to play, and I couldn't play online games, but luckily I'm very for the same reasons that they're shutting down. Well, not the same reasons, but because they're shutting down the 3DS and the Wii U store, they already did.
Hmm.
I was like, I don't want to buy online stuff and not have it forever. So I started buying cartridges, and I had just bought Metroid Dread, and I just played it over there, and I had the best time of my life, you know. And that's the thing. It's like there's times where you're just not gonna be able to play it because the Wi-Fi's out. You don't have internet. Your internet is bad. I know in some places people just like they have a lot of stuff connected, and it's just laggy, you know, in some people's homes. So I mean, I think it's a disservice to us, and I hate that people supported it so much in the beginning. That you know you buy a game, but you can only play it online, and then get cosmetics and this and that. You know, it just I didn't like that at all, even for the beginning. And when I hear that a game is like that, I don't even bother like playing it or buying it for those reasons. I don't want to get too invested into it and just be spending, spending, spending when I mean, we experienced like with the let's say like a GameCube, you know, you would buy the game and you would get the full experience and that was it. You know, there wasn't no DLC, there wasn't anything else. If they wanted to make more content for that game, they would make a second game, you know. So it's just I think it's ridiculous, but I mean, we have the gamers themselves to blame.
I mean,
You
yeah.
know, going back to Fortnite, because I know we said that Fortnite kind of started the whole trend, games
Hmm.
to service. Um, Fortnite's kind of doing a great job, right? Because I'm not too familiar with the game itself, but didn't they come up with a new like creator mode or something? And it kind of they brought up a brand new thing, and if the players like it, then the battle pass can come in, right? So would you say that maybe games as service now is kind of heading the right direction? Since if Fortnite is the leader, right, the one that sets an example, and right now they brought something completely new to the game. If other people follow that trend, don't you think that maybe games as service is headed in the right direction? 'Cause are you familiar with what's going on with Fortnite?
Yeah, yeah, with the Unreal 5 engine and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you say that maybe games as service is headed in the right direction because of that?
Well, I mean, uh, they really didn't start it. They started the battle royale stuff. You know,
Oh.
games of service was always, I mean, World of Warcraft. These games of service technically,
True.
Mm,
and
Yeah.
yeah,
League of
yeah.
Legends stuff like that. But I think it's just like the way they're doing it. I don't think they'll ever like die because obviously they started the battle royale and then they're doing something different. Like you said, the with inside the game,
Mhm,
even though it's free or whatever, like they're doing something different that people or developers don't even do in their games, you know.
mhm,
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that I think that in that I guess maybe for them it was the game design, like the battle royale. Like, okay, what else can we put? Because obviously it's just a battle royale, you know. And it's like, what else can we make? Maybe we're losing players or whatever. Maybe they're trying to experience something different, and then they're adding, content um, to their game to make it, more appealing for other players. Not even people that don't even play that much. Maybe people that don't even like Fortnite. Maybe they'll go and try it out just because of that, you know.
mhm.
So I
Yeah.
think they're doing a good job at it.
Hmm.
But all these other ones that are just trying to make a quick buck, it's not working out, you know. And it's like
Yeah.
the multiversus también. It was games of service where the content, the gamers nowadays, they eat content like crazy. They eat it quick. Like they
Mm,
could play a game and then they're done. You know, they do the challenges, they're done in a day. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like when these games come out, like multiverses, there's only so much you could put. There's only a little bit of content, and then they eat that up. And okay, what's next? I'm waiting for more. And then you wait, nothing happens. Everything's the same, you know. Compared to like Smash, for example, you get a full game, like a full normal game, so you can play, by yourself, with a party, with items, a story. Like you have everything in the game, which other
Yeah.
games do not have. They just have one mode, an example, one mode, and that's it. Once you're done with your little challenges, daily challenges or whatever, now what?
Yeah.
Mhm,
That's where they're suffering, where they're not putting enough content to these games.
Yeah.
mhm. Okay.
Yeah. Fortnite's doing a good job in that. Like they focus more on like, I mean, to play Fortnite, it's free. You know, you can play it on the Switch. You can play it on. I mean, I think Android is still up.
Cross
On
progression, cross play, yeah.
yeah, and you can play on, like I said, the Switch, PS4, PS5, whatever, and it's free. All you have to do is be able to play it. You play it. You don't even have to buy anything. You can play, have fun, and the content is always going to be there. but you have those special add-ons. Like I said, like for me, it was Doom Guy. I was able to get him. My brother-in-law, he's mainly into like first-person shooters. Like his favorite games are Call of Duty. He always buys Call of Duty for the campaign. Actually, he never really plays it for the multiplayer.
Hmm.
So then, but he's never played Fortnite. But then he saw that they had Master Chief on there. He was an Xbox guy, growing up. So he saw Master Chief and he was like, "Oh, let's play Fortnite so I can get him." And he got him. Like that's the thing. He found out that he really likes Fortnite after that. So sometimes he'll be like, "Hey, let's play Fortnite." And I'm like, "All right, let's do it." So it's like that's a good example of a company really focusing on the quality of the game and getting it right, and then putting content second. Because they could have gotten all this content first and not really focus on the development of the game and changing it. They've changed Fortnite so much from the beginning, like to the point where like if you told me when we first started playing it, oh, there's a mode where there's zero build and you can slide and you can maneuver and you can what do you call it, like climb walls and all that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I never see Fortnite doing that, and it's working out because they really listen. I think they really listen to their players, and they really pay attention on who's playing it and how it's progressing in the community. But yeah, some other games are, I mean, they just put whatever they can and they try to focus on content first and not really the quality of the game, and they really ruins it, and that's why they end up flopping. Multiverses try to put so much into their content, like get as many different characters, and they really didn't focus on the quality of the game. It just looking at the streams, because like I said, I never played it, but looking at the streams, it just felt super repetitive. It felt really really repetitive. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching the same match over and over again.
Mm.
And in comparison to Smash, it never feels like that.
Yeah, different play
And
styles, right? Feels like a Smash.
yeah,
Yeah.
is different play styles, different everything. Like it doesn't feel repetitive, even if you're watching the two same guys using the same characters on the same map. Like it doesn't feel repetitive at all. It's very different. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. The quality, it should always come first, but especially now, like you said, a lot of people just eat up content, and and they really don't focus on the quality of the game. Like I don't understand why people still play Modern Warfare 2, like the new one. Like it's a terrible game. That game is so bad. Like the graphics are bad. The gameplay is the same as Modern Warfare 1. They just changed the UI a little bit, and I'm just like, it's a horrible game, but people would just eat it up, because it's new. It's the newest thing, and everyone's playing it.
And it's Call of Duty. I mean, money
It's
maker.
called. I mean, that's another thing. It has the name Call of Duty,
Yeah.
so I mean, I'll give them that. But at the same time, it's like it's not an enjoyable game. I did not enjoy it at all. But hey, I mean, maybe it's just me.
Okay, moving on to the next. E3 canceled. We got the news. A couple of days ago, E3 got canceled. Um, and there's a lot of people that were, oh, rip E3 and stuff like that. I remember watching E3 on G4 on TV, and I always be like, damn, I wish I could go over there and to that convention or whatever. It had some good moments, but I think now that we're moving forward with media and like streaming and all that, like it's not working out having a in-person event anymore like that. And I think that's what happened, especially from the beginning when they announced it, and Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox announced they were not attending, so it was already a red flag.
Yeah.
And then from there, more companies started pulling out, like Ubisoft and Sega, like so it's just like, what, we're just gonna cancel it. And they said they're gonna do other things for E3. I think E3 is already dead. But what do y'all think? That topic.
I feel that right now, as we progress with technology and everything, people love having everything online, enjoying anything, just being at home and watching it. And I think that's part of the reason why E3 mainly died, because back then when you wanted to buy a game, you had to get the physical copy, right? You can't just like right now get it immediately online. And back then the only way you can see these new stuff was showing up to these events like E3. And now that everything is in the palm of your hands, just literally going online, um, people enjoy that. People like that because it's just more convenient. It saves a lot of time. That's part of the reason why E3 just died, because a lot of people, including myself, really, like when you hear about these events, you're like, huh, did I really make the time to go, or maybe I can just watch it from home or watch another event from home, to watch the new content because I have this to do or these other chores or I won't be able to make it. It's too much of a hassle. So I think all that contributes to E3 and other big events that are in person flopping or failing. It's just how we're progressing, and there's not much we can do about it. Because E3 made that announcement, right? The only reason why they're not doing it anymore is because people don't want to see it. There's not enough incentive to actually watch it. So it's sad, and it's sad mainly maybe for us because we grew up with these events, and it's fond memories. Maybe if we ask the newer generation, they'll be like, "Oh, what's the big deal? I can just watch it from home. Oh, it doesn't matter." So I think just because we grew up knowing how it feels to go to these events and seeing it live, we miss it. But I think this new generation might not care, or might be like good riddance. We don't need it anymore. But that's that's just how we're progressing, honestly. So it's sad, but if we don't need it, the only thing we can do is evolve, right? Maybe find something better. I think that's the best outlook on it. Just find a better way of doing it. Just trying to progress. Maybe try not to cling on to something that reminds us of what we loved as our childhood. Just have to progress, and it's sad, but that's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely. Yeah, I remember watching E3 and just announcement after announcement. Especially I remember when they announced the Xbox 360. Like that was crazy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't think it's the style anymore. People are just very online. Like even concerts have been going on online.
Damn,
Stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, like they even have online concerts.
Yeah.
And it's very popular right now. Even I mean, when I first started hearing about that, I mean, it was on Fortnite. Like they had
Mhm.
the Travis Scott
Oh
concert, they
yeah.
had Ariana Grande and stuff like that, and it was pretty cool. I was able to experience it, and but they have actual concerts that are just online. So it's just like it's pretty. It just feels like people are moving forward, into technology and just trying to like Gold said, evolve into something different. And I mean, right now it's just not the move to just keep E3 as an event, especially that Nintendo pulled out first. From when they pulled out, it was just I had a feeling, that it was just not going to work out anymore because it's like I don't mind Nintendo just doing their direct, like I I don't know, it just works.
So yeah.
It's I don't know how to explain it, but it just works. I'm still getting the same announcements. I'm still whatever, but it's at Nintendo's time and it's live stream and all that, and we still get the news. But and then we can get little updates here and there. But yeah, I mean, if it's not working out anymore for E3, and then there's no need for it to exist.
Yeah. Um, I think what started off was Nintendo. They started doing the directs,
Hmm.
and it was like in the beginning of the Switch when they actually started doing their own thing, and people were calling them crazy for doing a direct. Like, what are you doing? You can't announce your games like that. It's not gonna work out or whatever. You need to do in person event, whatever. And they found it as like, you know what? I don't think we need to do that. I think we could do our own direct or whatever, like, showcase our games, and actually prepare, because sometimes in live events, not everything goes correctly. Like sometimes they become cringy, or the script wasn't right or whatever. And
Hmm.
a lot of stuff could happen on live. Um, but I think they did start the the directs, and now PlayStation have their own direct stuff. Xbox started doing their own stuff. So it's like people are not, or companies are not seeing the benefit to do E3. To spending money to go there and have their product showcase in E3 when they could just do their own and save money by doing their own direct, you know. So I think that's just how it is. Obviously, the video game awards is different. There is a live event and people go only because of Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley is really respected in the game industry. That you know Jeff Keighley basically makes millions for these developers. You know, so they respect the guy, and it's like every time he does an event, obviously they're gonna be there. So it's really different, and it just sucks because yeah, E3 was the main, you know, it because of E3 we knew all these games, because of E3 we knew all this stuff, you know. And I mean, I guess they didn't want to evolve with like how it's going digital and stuff like that. They decided not to, and that's the outcome, you know.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah, and something that I always remember from E3 is like, it's like it was crazy to have the big, like you could say the big three, you know, Nintendo, PlayStation, well, Sony, and
Xbox.
and Microsoft, Xbox, be all together in one event and be like, have one go first, and it's like, oh, what is the competition? How are they gonna respond? You know, and then have the other one go. And it's like, how are they gonna respond? Like, what do they have going on? This and that. Like, yeah, it was that's one of the pros of having the E3, but at the same time, I mean, yeah, you can just do it online, you know? Like Nintendo's doing it, and I think Sony started doing it too, huh? Like
Yeah.
they're doing like their own, yeah. But I haven't really kept up with Sony and Xbox, just mainly Nintendo. But yeah, I mean, it's just something that doesn't really need to exist anymore.
Yeah.
Y- Yeah, we as consumers just want everything faster and cheaper, and I guess these companies are realizing that if we can give these consumers the same content online, why waste money in these events if hardly anyone shows up? And if it's just about presenting the content, we can just do it online. It's faster and we save more money. So that's why E3 and other big in-person events are dying, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, we got two more that I have here. Uh, this one's pretty interesting. JRPG controversy. I know I mentioned go to this one, but yeah, I didn't explain what was actually happening.
Yeah.
So let me pull out this article. Let me see. So Yoshida is the creator of the Final Fantasy 16, and there was an interview with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I guess the guy who's asking the question said, you know, is it considered a JRPG? You know, it's like a term that we use for in gaming, that we would separate normal RPGs like Western made RPGs to JRPGs like more anime, more Japanese developer style games, you know. And he said this going to depend on who you ask, but there was a time when this term first appeared 15 years ago, and for us as developers, the first time we heard it, it was like a discriminatory term, as though we were being made fun of creating these games. And so for developers, the term JRPG can sometimes can be something that will maybe trigger bad feelings because of it in the past. So they feel this way where you're like separating. Why isn't we're just RPG? It's not JRPG. Why are you separating? You know, the term. And
Mm-hmm.
and I never thought of that. You know, it's like I always use it. You know, we always use it JRPG, but in a good way. You know, but they feel like, well, not everyone, but depending on who you ask, like he said, um, you know, they don't like that term because you're separating. We don't say Japanese action games. You know, we don't say Japanese, you know, dramas. Like we don't say that. You know, we just call it drama. But for some reason, we call RPGs JRPGs or RPGs to separate. Even on PlayStation, the store, it even has a category that says JRPGs. You know, so it's like I never thought of that, but it made me think like, oh crap, like you know, maybe some people or some Japanese developers or whatever they might get offended of that term, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy because that's been used to forever now. What do y'all think about that?
This is my first time hearing of the term JRPG,
Mm.
I just looked it up real quick and I just saw one picture and I immediately see the difference. For me, JRPG to RPG is kind of like anime to cartoons.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. Um, it's different in its own way. I don't think it's insulting at all. Um, because it's hard to explain how they're different, but it's not the same thing. And it's not bad really because I can just simply say like I enjoy anime over cartoons, so I think I would enjoy a lot more JRPG over regular RPG. It's kind of hard to describe what makes it different, but it's just overall the style. I don't think
Yeah,
it's a
the
bad
style.
thing. I think it's a good thing because it's unique. It's showing that the content that I guess in Japan that they make, even though it's same concept you could say, it's different in its own way, and I like the separation of it. I think it's a good thing for
It's
sure.
better.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, I like I mean this is the first time hearing that term, and I already would probably choose to play JRPG over RPG. So
I mean, Pokemon technically is JRPG, the game.
true.
So
Yeah, and yeah, like again, to me, JRPG to RPG, I think of like Cartoon Network to like Crunchyroll. That's
yeah,
first impression, and I don't think anybody is really offended. Like I don't think anyone's offended over why are you calling it an anime over a cartoon. So I think maybe people are focusing too much on the term Japanese, but there's nothing wrong with it really. I mean, they
I
can call it
think
anime role playing games. There's no thing. Yeah.
I think it's just a cultural difference,
Mhm.
we're so used to the Western media. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just explaining like what I think. It's just like to us, like you said, a cartoon is like Cartoon Network. Like let's say Steven Universe or something like that. That's a cartoon to us, or SpongeBob. But in Japan, I've heard that some people, for them, cartoons are anime. Growing up, that's what they watched. That's their cartoon. So
hmm
I think that it has to do with that. For them, it's just an RPG. You know,
yeah,
for them, it's the same category. But for us, we're in a different side of the world. We have our own stuff as well. So
Mm.
that's why we categorize it as JRPG. So we don't, um, so we can distinguish the difference, and the difference is there. Like you said, it's JRPGs are very anime style because for them, that's what is normal. But for us, that's different. That's from somewhere else. But no, I can see why it can be offensive, and I can understand that. But I think maybe they are taking it a little too serious. But again, Japan is they're very delicate on respect, and they're very delicate um, on honor, and then just being able to show pride. You know what I mean? That's just what their cultural difference is compared to us. We're just a very proud kind of nation. But they were raised a different way, and I think that's why he finds it offensive to a point, or these developers do. But I don't see anything bad in it. But I wouldn't mind just calling it an RPG as well. To be honest, it wouldn't make a difference for me.
But you agree it's different though, right? So would it make sense to call it RPG as well? Is it just the
Um,
naming convention that they're offended by? Or?
I think it's just like how you said. You're separating them. You're categorizing.
Mm.
Like let's say you make something that you consider anime. You know, you drew it, you made the
Mm,
story, you made the whole thing. But to them, you live in the U.S., but to them, it's not anime.
I
To
see.
to
yeah.
them, it's just cartoons, and you're
I
just like,
see.
no, like it's an anime. They're like, no, no, no,
Um,
it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. Just let it be its cartoon.
mm,
So yeah, you probably have the best cartoon, but you don't have the best anime. That's basically what they feel.
wow.
That's how I understood it. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't I personally wouldn't categorize it as JRPG anymore if that's how they feel, because I kind of understand why they would feel that way, but because I would be offended if someone said that to me too. Like they're trying to tell you like it's not what it is. Because it is an RPG. It's not like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
JRPGs are RPGs. So, and they're trying to. At the end of the day, they want to be proud of their work, and they want to be proud of saying like we have the best RPG or one of the best RPG games. But then you're categorizing as something else. And I think that's where they take insult.
I didn't think of it that way. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not everyone, right? But it's just crazy to hear from one of the big, developers in Square Enix making, hopefully one of the biggest games of this year, and just say that. And I'm like, damn, like I didn't really think of that because even like, let's say you play Devil May Cry or something like that, you don't call it a Japanese action. You
Yeah.
just call it an action game. But
Yeah.
why is RPGs are separate? That's kind of weird. But I mean, when I heard it, I was like, why is it separate? But it's just how
Mhm.
we, like, for us, we treat it as kind of like Walt said, where it's something unique. It's a good thing that we call it like that, not to be offensive. But I guess for them, they don't want to be separated. They want to just be an RPG. It's just an RPG, because then you're like, oh, you're not a real RPG or something. Maybe they will feel like something like that. Oh, it's just a JRPG. It's not a really actual RPG. Like, no, it is, but
Yeah.
we say it different.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, go ahead.
it's unfortunate that now that I see how Christian explained it, it's unfortunate that they see it that way because for me, first impression, I feel that we're separating it because it's just so unique. They bring their own unique style, so we give it the honor of slightly categorizing it different because they give a really nice, unique style. But again, going back to what Christian said, it sucks. I just wish that they would see it from our point of view. Is that you you could say they made RPG but better. That's why we're giving it this new title because you made our you could think of it as they should think of it as they made our content better to certain people. That's why we're giving it the term JRPG. But like,
Hmm.
yeah, that would suck. That if you were to make an anime and then you submit your anime, they're like, oh well, we're gonna put it in this category. You would be disappointed because you wanted it to be that, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, and I always think back to, I mean, this is a weird example, but when I was in high school, I remember, in high school they have different programs. They have soccer, basketball, and they have a dance team. And I was talking to this girl from the dance team, and I don't know how we got into this topic, but basically what she was saying is that she's an athlete, you know, even though she was in the dance team, and we were just me and my friends were like, no, yours is an art, like it's an art, like
yeah.
it like I would be honored for someone to tell me what you're doing is an art. And she's like, no, 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 we're athletes, like we have to train, we have to work out, we have to stretch this and that. And I'm just like, she took a lot of offense to it, and she explained to me like how difficult it is. And the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I think if I put so much work, physical work into something, and someone told me that I'm not an athlete, I think I would be, I would feel, I would be mad about it as well, be bothered, annoyed, and because at the end of the day, they, for dance, they do a lot of workouts, they do a lot of like physical stuff to be flexible to make that art, but at the same time, they are an athlete, you not just anyone can do it. You know what I mean? The dancing and all that. Like there it takes some skill, it takes some work to do it. But yeah, I see it the same way for JRPGs and RPGs. Like it just because it might be better, or you think you want to give them that honor, that like their own category. For them, it's not like that. They see themselves at this category, and they want to be considered to this category because they know what it takes.
You know, very interesting because it kind of seems that categorizing stuff makes it worse in a way. I guess how people feel about it. I see two wrong things. I think some people take stuff the wrong way, and they should see a category simply for to organize stuff. That's the only way we can if
Hmm.
we can research stuff and find stuff because it's categorized. But a lot of people feel prideful for being an athlete and feel like, oh, this should also be in that category, that it makes stuff worse. And I can see these issues stem on to other stuff in real life. I don't want to get too off topic, but it kind of reminds me of, oh, I'm not this gender, I'm not that gender. It's a category, right? And people get offended, and people don't feel that way, and it's interesting because what's the issue? Us categorizing things, or us taking it too literally? You know, it's just a category to kind of organize stuff. That's the way I see it. But I would also feel the same way. Like if I was in a soccer team, and then I don't know, they put soccer as a exercise instead of a sport. You know, I'd be like, what the hell? It's a sport. You know.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting debate. What's wrong? Like from back to the gaming thing, I feel like we're using it just to categorize stuff, not to separate stuff. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are we the ones who are wrong for feeling that way, or you know, how should we feel? Are we categorizing it, or are we separating it? That's the question. How,
Yeah.
is JRPG being categorized or separated? What do y'all
Yeah.
think?
Well, there was footage from a long time ago where they're like a Japanese developer was wanted to ask a question from a Western developer, right? And the Japanese developer asked something, you know, about their game, and he's like, "Well, we're doing better than y'all are," or something like that. So it was offended. He was offended, you know, as a Japanese developer.
Mhm.
So they could, you know, some people might take it where yeah, we're trying to be offensive, but then for us, for the most people, they it's just categorized like you said. But there is some people where they do belittle it just because it's a JRPG, you know. But
Yeah.
for the general public, yeah, we're not trying to make it like that, you know. But I guess because of the past, uh, I think mostly because of the past, it was, you know, diminished and like all this stuff, you know what I mean? Now it's not. Now it's considered kind of like anime, you know, where
Mhm.
in anime in the past it was like, what is that or whatever, and now it's like praised, you know. It's kind of the same thing, you know. Now it's like, oh, anime is, you know, this is mainstream. Back then it was so niche, and if you
Mhm.
watched it, you were whatever, you know, what I mean, you know, stuff like that. So I think that's basically the same idea over here. Even like soccer and football is actually football. It's not
Mhm.
soccer, you know. And
Mhm.
if you go
Yeah.
somewhere else, they're gonna like, what is that? Like, it's not. That's not the proper name, you know. What I mean? It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
football. It's football. Yeah, but we call it soccer over here. Like, no, you know, it's just something that we made up, I guess. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. No, and it has to do with people just being passionate about what they do, you know?
Mhm.
If you're passionate about something and someone doesn't categorize it the way you see it, then that's where people start getting offended, you know? Um, but yeah, I think they are separating it when they're doing JRPG because I don't think subcategories are good. You know, I think just calling it an RPG is just the solution to it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, it's an RPG.
But then let's say you really enjoy this JRPG being categorized as RPG. How would you find more games in the RPG category
That's my
that are
thing.
like
Yeah,
that are JRPG? How would you
yeah,
find more of that if it's being called an RPG? You know, so that's where the real issue, in my opinion,
Yeah.
comes forth.
Okay, I can see that. I
Yeah.
can see that. But at the same time, I mean, um, let's see. I think if a JRPG, you know, it's being called an RPG now, and it's good. You're just gonna be attracted to the experience and the story of it, you know. Unless you're specifically just into the anime style video games, then I can see where that can be a problem.
yeah.
But I think the problem here is that it's not even considered just an RPG. It's considered a JRPG, and that's it. You know what I mean? If it
Mm.
has that subcategory, you know, like how you can subcategorize it, like it's an RPG, but it's also a JRPG.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know
you
what I
could do
mean? Or
that.
it's
Yeah,
an anime style RPG, like, you know, because the J in JRPG means Japan or Japanese, you know, and I think that's where it takes offense to it. But you know, just explain the style in that category. Be like, oh, I want a more Western style RPG, or I want a more anime style, more cartoon style, this and that. But um, yeah, I mean, there's solutions, and no matter what you do,
Yeah.
people are gonna get offended. You know,
yeah. No matter
Exactly.
what. Yeah,
I
Because
mean, even if you take the JRPG out
yep.
of, you know, the J, some
Mhm.
people are going to be offended that it's not JRPG anymore. Even like,
Yeah.
you know, people around here or even in
even in
Japan.
Japan, yeah, they'll probably.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
people are always going to be offended. But At the end of the day, you just want to show respect to whoever you're talking to and this and that, you know?
Yeah. I was gonna go back to your example. You said that just subcategorize it, right? That solves the issue. Well, let's say you're an athlete, you're a ballerina. Are you an athlete subcategory artist or what did you call it? Right? Yeah, it was people will be like,
Yeah.
no. People will still get offended,
Yeah.
Yeah.
unfortunately. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not too passionate, I guess, about categories, so I, from an outside perspective, see it as a way to organize things. But I can see how one would get offended if they're really passionate about one thing, and then this guy tells you, "Okay, good job, I'm putting you in this category," but I'm doing this. Like
Yeah.
it's a tough discussion. So
Yeah. And it
I,
goes back to like, you can't please anyone, you know,
yeah,
or everyone at the same time. Like, it's just whatever you think is right is going to be right in your head, you know, like, and not right in the other one. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it's just respect. Just be respectful, and um, I don't know how they're gonna solve that problem with the JRPG and all that. But I mean, I'm only one person. You know, it has to be a team,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
to fix that problem.
I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, at least.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
so.
so then, on to the last topic, right? The last topic, this year, I think has been the best in gaming, or it's gonna be one of the best years in gaming in terms of games coming out and stuff like that. I mean, we had some bangers already. We had Resident Evil 4, Fire Emblem. We have Tears of the Kingdom coming out. Final Fantasy 16, maybe Spider-Man 2, Silent Hill 2, maybe.
Hmm.
Armored Core. We have a lot of games coming out, and last year we had Elden Ring and God of War. That those the big ones, right? That everyone talked about. It was everywhere, and we were like, man, I don't think next year will top it, you know. And then out of nowhere, Resident Evil 4, like all these games, Dead Space and stuff like that, has been coming out, and we're like, damn, this is actually better than last year. Hogwarts Legacy, another game that came out, it's really big. So it's like, I think the Game Awards to get the best video game will be pretty interesting to see, who would actually take it. And I'm just curious, I mean, I know Go doesn't really play that much different games, but I'm pretty sure he's been, looking here and there. I know you were interested on playing Resident Evil 4, so that's like a big one that a lot of people that normally don't even play, other games they've been playing. Um, but I'm just curious, I mean, there's also what is it, Advanced Wars coming out as well, Mega
Mhm.
Man. So it's like, uh, what games are you interested in that compare, from last year that are coming out this year?
um, I never really been interested in new games. I've kind of just played Smash for the longest, but like you said, this year is gonna be big. I've gotten a little bit more into games. I'm really looking forward to. Well, I want to play Resident Evil. That's one game for sure. Resident Evil. I might even get more into the franchise to play more Resident Evil games. And another game that I'm really interested in will probably be Mega Man. Um, just because of nostalgic reasons. So I think they're doing a great job remastering all these classic games because they're bringing back new categories that we kind of forgot about. Again, going back to the games as a service, right now that's the most popular thing. But bringing back classics not only will get the people hooked, but would also introduce them to, hey, games as a service isn't everything in gaming. I really enjoyed this game as a kid, and now that I can see this game being available online for multiplayer play or being added more stuff, I think there's more to gaming than just games as a service. So I think they're doing a great job with that. I think it's a great idea bringing back classics just to entice the community to let's try it because right now they're really hooked on no, I like this, I like this, I like free games, blah blah. But if you bring something back that's already really popular, it's a great way to kind of shift in terms of what you like as gaming.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. A lot of these like remastered remakes or ports,
Hmm.
mainly on the Switch, because right now like that's the only console I have. I have a PC, and mainly I just play free games on there. But just being able to play those on the go, and you know, bringing it back to the past, you know, like it's just a game. You don't need internet. It's just you play it and that's it. It has a story and all that. Like a game that came out last, or was it? I think it was last year, that really stood out to me was Metroid Dread. You know, that game has nothing like online. You know, maybe just a leaderboard on how fast you complete the game or whatever. But man, that game, 10 out of 10. It was fun to play it, and then I replayed it like 4 times. You know, because they release like you started on normal mode, and then you get hard, and then you get Dread. So it's like, and then you get achievements, you get all these things, and it's pretty cool. And I have to spend more money on it. I just bought it and I played it, you know, and I love that game. And I'm looking forward to like getting Tales of Symphonia. You know, they remade it already for the Switch. Metroid Prime, I'm waiting on getting that game as well. But uh, for new games that I'm really looking forward to, I can't really say because I don't really play a lot of games. I'm mainly just on my Switch for now. But yeah, no, I think maybe the Tears of the Kingdom might be a really good contender. Just seeing that preview that we got of the gameplay, it was amazing. It was very different from other games that I've seen, you know. And to be fair, I haven't seen a lot. I haven't played a lot of those style games like Legend of Zelda, you know, open world, and yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Skyrim esque, you know, type of games.
Hmm.
But I never really played a lot of those. But just Legend of Zelda just catches my attention, and Tears of the Kingdom I know is going to be a hard game to beat this year, and I look forward to playing that game.
Yeah, it's
You
kind
know,
of. Oh, go ahead.
real quick, going back to the remastering thing. Before all this, I would only play Smash, Apex. But if it wasn't for them remastering a game that I know it's very popular, like Resident Evil, I would have never kind of stemmed out to other kinds of games. So I think it's a great way to start a movement of try other games besides games as a service. You know, but that was it.
Yeah, it goes to something that you said. We've been oversaturated with these kinds of games, right? But uh, then you have people kind of like you said where they don't want to, you know, try other things. It's really
That was
hard,
me.
especially when it's like new games that you don't
Yep,
even know. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't want to play that, you
exactly.
know?
I was one of them. Yep.
Yeah. So this year specifically, they made a lot of remasters and remakes. They're even talking about making a whole category just of remakes or remasters, you know? Because there's been
Hmm.
so many. There's been Metroid Prime, you know, Dead Space, uh, what's it called, Resident Evil, and some other ones that are coming out. Oh, Advance Wars, another remake. So it's like,
Yeah,
uh, I think, like you said, where people that don't normally play other games are interested in these specific ones because they're already established. Like you said, like, oh, I heard people talk about this game a lot. You know, back in the past, I remember Resident Evil 4. Like, I remember that. You know what? Let me try it out. You know, let me take a break of this. Let me try it out, and then, oh crap, this is really different. And then it just opens up more doors, like you said.
Hmm.
So I think that's a really good idea of these companies that are bringing back a lot of titles, and obviously it is a risk. You know, it's like I don't know if it will do well. That's why they don't remake a lot of things back in the day because it never catched on. You know, but I think now that especially like our age, now that we're more financially stable and stuff like that, you want to get that nostalgia back. You want to get those games that you used to love back then. And then since they're remaking it with part of your life changes, it's like okay, I want to play that again. As
Hmm.
in a new way, modern way, and it's actually working out for these companies. So I think that's a really good idea that they're doing that, and
yeah.
it brings back old players and then also new players, to experience this what we had back then, and then maybe open up, like I said, new doors to more games or whatever.
Yeah, and I think what really helps a lot too is just having easy connectivity with people, you know, being able to you know, if something's blowing up, something is like getting more traction, you'll hear about it, whether it be on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. In the past, you like this. I've heard it's good, but I've only heard it from like a friend or two.
Yeah, word of
But
mouth. Yeah.
now, yeah, now you can see reviews, videos, you see all these things, and you just feel more confident in going into it. For me, for example, like Nino Kuni, I've never in my life have I ever played a JRPG ever, 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 and I never wanted to. And Javis would always tell me like, "Oh, you should play it. You should play it."
Mhm.
And he even showed me gameplay from the PS4 port, and I was like, "Oh, it looks pretty cool," but no, I don't think I'll play it until they ported it to the Switch as well, and I'm just like, you know what? I heard a lot of good stuff from him, and I seen a lot of stuff online, about the game. So I'm like, I'll finally give it a try. And man, I love that game. That game is a 10 out of 10 for me, and that's the thing. Like I'm if you ask anyone, I've always been one to play multiplayer games only. It would be Smash, Mario Kart, Fortnite, Modern Warfare, whatever. Any of just multiplayer, and that's it. I never really played story mode games, but man, that game was amazing, and I'm glad that I was able to experience it and go into something new. And that's one of the pros of being able to remaster or port these games into the newer consoles, is to get that experience for those new people and be comfortable about it. Because I mean, honestly, this game, if I were to buy it when it came out, it would have been $60, on the PS3, right? It came out on the PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I would have thought about it and probably been like, nah, I don't want to get it. It's too
Yeah.
much. It's not a game that I really play. But now that it was ported into the Switch, I got it at GameStop for like $5. So I was like, oh, okay, well, there you go. Like, I'll give it a try. It's cheaper and this and that, and I still get the same experience of the game. So I think that's a good thing that a lot of developers are doing. Um, but yeah, I mean, they have to be limited on it as well. Like they can't just remaster anything, because what if it flops? What if they lose money trying to port it? And I mean, I can see that aspect as well. But yeah, I love that game.
Yeah. I'm excited for Battle Network. I think that one's gonna be really good.
Oh yeah.
Um, this year, I'm really excited for like my biggest two games is obviously Legend of Zelda
Mhm.
and Final Fantasy 16. I know Gold, you saw a little bit of Final Fantasy 16 and you were actually impressed, and you don't even know what that is. You were like, oh man, and you know. So I'm
Mhm.
really excited for that because the last one we got was maybe like what, freaking 8 years ago or something like that. So it's been a while since we got an actual mainline Final Fantasy game.
And
Um,
and again, I got interested in the Final Fantasy franchise because they remastered Final Fantasy
Seven,
7, and
yeah,
and now I see a new Final Fantasy game, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll check it out. So
yeah,
that's why it's
yeah,
really important.
yeah. It's really important, and uh, I just think it all speaks from as us. Like if we go out there and actually support the games that are coming out, these remasters or whatever, it only helps us at the end because then we get more from that. It's not if we don't if it flops in terms of not selling well, we're never gonna see it again. You know, so I think
Yeah.
now is the time where people are remastering and remakes, and it's working out, and then from there we can make new games from the same franchise. I mean, it would be cool to see a new Battle Network. Imagine like a brand new sequel to what I mean. I'll be like,
Yeah.
bro, I'll be losing my mind for that.
Yeah.
So I think this timeline is pretty cool because we're getting not only like it's weird because not only in games but also like in shows and
Mhm.
movies we're getting a lot of like nostalgia things. At least for us that we're like, oh man, it's really cool to see that now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of the games that I'm looking forward to is Advance Wars for sure. And that game was pretty fun, and being able to see it remastered, because it was for the Game Boy, and being able to see it on the Switch. I mean, that's gonna be crazy. And Tears of the Kingdom. I think those are my two picks. But yeah, I mean, like you said, just these remasters are um, I think they're a good thing right now. It might be a time where it's gonna be a bad thing, but There's definitely some games that I would like to see remastered as well. Like I have talked to Howies about Custom Robo. I don't know if you ever heard of that game, Gold.
GameCube.
When I was little, I would hear my brother talk about, "Oh, this game is so popular." Because did they remake it? Was it originally like Super Nintendo or something, and then they made it to GameCube? Or
I don't know.
It was on the 64, and
hmm
then they made it onto the GameCube, and they added a little bit more stuff, and then they made a new one for the DS.
I always heard it was very popular, and I could tell because when they made it for the GameCube, it was the original price, $50 or $60 at the time.
Hmm.
And usually when it's like a remaster or something, it's cheaper, but it was the same price, so I could tell it was really popular. I didn't know too much what was it about, but that name really does sound familiar.
Yeah, that game was a lot of fun. It basically it's almost like kind of like I wouldn't say exactly like Pokemon, but you would have your own like little robot. You would customize it. And you can change the weapons, you can change the gliding and the movement and the size of it and all that. You would start off with like a skeleton almost, of a robot, and
hmm
it had its own abilities, but then you can add to it, and it's just like a fighting game, with missiles, rockets, and lasers and all that. It was a lot of fun. I would love to see that one remastered. A lot of people didn't like it, especially the DS one. That one wasn't a good. It didn't hit, but I liked it a lot because, like, again, it goes back to that having a portable experience. Growing up, I was always on the road, and we're going on a family trip or whatever. I can just play and play and play. Um, but yeah, I really wish they would remaster that one. And right now, I can't think of any other remasters that I would like, but I think that would be a good one. And yeah, and I can't wait. I can't wait to play Mega Man as well. I remember playing just a little bit of it because Javi's was always playing it. He was hogging it, but I played a little bit of it, and I remember enjoying it a lot. But yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait to watch the Game Awards, see who's gonna take it this year, because it's gonna be really, really stacked there.
yeah.
Um, well, that's the last thing I had for this podcast. Um, I don't think I have people that have questions now. So, I just want to thank y'all for joining me. Gold, where can everyone reach you?
Oh, you can reach me at Twitch TV/Fighting Gold. Same thing for Twitter or TikTok, pretty much.
Okay, and Christian, if you want people to reach you, where can they find you?
Uh, I think I only have my Facebook, Facebook and Instagram, but it should be Christian Godinez. So that's where you can find me.
All right, now I just want to thank everyone that's been watching, whoever watched. Thank you. I'm gonna put this on YouTube as well for everyone that wants to watch it again and stuff like that. But yeah, man, what y'all think so far? It's good, right? It's a good episode, good podcast.
Yeah, there was a lot of interesting topics, especially the JRPG was probably my favorite topic. It was interesting. I saw different aspects of it because, again, me from the outside, I was like, oh, it's just a category. But then seeing from a different perspective, being really passionate about what you do, and then having your art categorized in a different, you know, genre or whatever, yeah, it's I can see the impact. So it's interesting topics for sure. I enjoyed it a lot. So appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the podcast too. Enjoyed it a lot. I'm excited for future invitations and more discussions, more topics.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe even stuff that's not really like super game related. We'll see.
All right. Well, hopefully another day we could do this, but it's unfortunate that Skyjay couldn't make it, but um,
Okay.
maybe later we could plan out and do other stuff. If we want, we could do other topics like anime and shows and stuff like that. I wanted to have it more like in that area, where it's
Hmm.
more of the hobbies we have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess
Oh
thanks
well.
for what's up?
Well, before we end it, I have a question.
Okay.
What games are you guys playing right now, or like what animes are y'all into right now? Stuff that you guys are enjoying.
Games right now that I'm playing League of Legends. Kind of playing Smash again with these guys.
Okay.
Kind of stopped playing Apex because it kind of got stale, a little bit boring. I'm looking forward to playing Resident Evil, playing Mega Man.
Hmm.
I think those are the main games that I'm looking forward to. It's mainly Mega Man. I'm interested to see what that's all about. But that's in terms of picking up new games, I want to try Mega Man. I'm barely starting off because I know Animacon tries a lot of different games and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm barely going to that because at first I would just play competitive. But like again, the remaster stuff like Resident Evil kind of made me try that. But for now, what I'm looking forward to it's Mega Man mainly. I want to see what that's all about because I don't know about y'all. I played Mega Man Battle Network, but I actually played against a friend and my brother with the Game Link cable, and it
Yeah.
was very intense. I would actually tell Animacon that game was ahead of its time, and when we had that discussion, literally like a few weeks to a month later, Nintendo announced Battle Network. You know, bringing it
Yeah.
back. It was shocking because before that I had done my research and I actually saw that there was a competitive scene before all this. There actually existed a competitive scene. There was
Oh
actually
wow.
people who try to mod it and try to have an online service. So that's one of the games that I want to see how it will work out in the competitive scene. So I'm interested in that for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a game to look forward to. What about you, Javis? What are you playing right now?
All right. Well, now that I will have online, it'll be pretty cool actually to see how that one turns out. But right now, I'm playing Octopath Traveler 2, a little 2D HD RPG classic style turn based, um, with 8 characters, and they all have their own 8 different stories. And I swear, man, like every character could have its own, uh, like a whole game just dedicated because they're really interesting, man. The stories, and it just gets to show like you don't need 4K, you don't need graphics to tell a story, you know.
Yeah.
And the music in there is phenomenal. I mean, it's Square Enix, so they make Final Fantasy music, Kingdom Hearts music. I mean, so
Yeah.
obviously it's top tier music. The games I'm looking forward to the most, because obviously, I want to get a lot, but the most that I'm actually looking forward to is as a competitive side, besides Smash, because obviously Smash, I do want to compete again, stuff like that. But besides that one, the other competitive game that I'm looking forward to is Street Fighter 6. I'm really looking
Okay.
forward to how that one. I played the beta, and I'm really interested of the game because it feels like a really good game to for casuals to go in and try it out without being scared of the competitive, in that game, how it's
Yeah.
designed. So I'm really interested in playing that one as a competitive online stuff like that. And story wise, obviously Legend of Zelda and Final Fantasy are my biggest two that I want to play this year for sure. I already got my pre-orders in and I'm ready to go.
Nice.
About you?
Right now, I'm very. I just finished playing Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 on the Switch.
Oh crap!
I, I passed them all, and then I passed Splatoon 3 as well. That one was a fun game. The multiplayer, man.
As
The
a competitive,
multiplayer.
right?
Yeah, man. The multiplayer is very like I played it and I was like I couldn't believe like how big the scene is, you know? It's
I
so
want to
easy to
try it
find a
out.
match. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it does get annoying at first when you don't have a lot of different weapons, but it's a lot of fun multiplayer. But right now I'm playing Minecraft Dungeons on the Switch. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a game where it's like it's almost like the
Oh, you cut off. I thought
drop
it
down
was a loss of
screen, you
words.
know, and oh, where did I leave off? What was the last thing y'all heard?
Minecraft
Top down.
Dungeons.
I can't hear you again. What the heck?
Yeah,
It's cutting off.
can't hear can't hear you.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, okay, there you
Okay,
go.
there you go. Okay. Yeah, Minecraft Dungeons. That one, it's a top tier game. I mean, it's like the Diablo kind of play style. You know, you just go and you collect weapons, you go through dungeons and all that. It's pretty fun. It's funny. It's not. I wouldn't say it's as um, not complicated, but It doesn't have as much content as Diablo does,
Yeah.
mainly because it is a kids game. You know, it's Minecraft. So, but it's a pretty good game. It's pretty fun. Sometimes I even play it with my wife. You know, we both play it together, so it's pretty fun. And that's the game I'm playing right now. And I'm very looking. I'm looking forward to getting Metroid Prime. Now, like I know it's out already, but I'm trying to wait a little bit until I see a sale or I get my GameStop points or something to get it cheaper. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one because I really enjoyed Metroid Dread, and I've heard a lot of good things about Prime. And then I've heard that they want to remake the second Metroid Prime 2 as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me.